Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about the future of healthcare system in India. I'm pretty sure all of you are confused as to what to do after your plus two, whether to take medicine. If not medicine, then what are the options? Don't be confused and lost because there are a lot of options available right now apart from MBBS itself. So I'm going to talk about the few options that I think are really good apart from MBBS. Uh, so I'm going to take a lot of questions in the end, I believe. So let's start off the webinar. So, so there's a circle of essentials that I would want everyone to follow. So you need to have options. Don't stick on to just MBBS because there are a lot of options, and also follow your interests and passions. So this is also related to skills that you may be having. Some of you might be really good artists. Some of you might be inclined towards music or arts. So I would say those people would be really good at surgery, general surgery, or any surgical field, or even dentistry, as a matter of fact. It also depends on your personality, how calm you are or how aggressive you are in terms of your career. And resources obviously is very important, because with the right resources, I think you can do wonders in your life. Also look at the job opportunities that you might have to look at in the future. I mean, base your career on the job opportunities that are available. So act smart. You always need to have values, and of course parents support is a must. Parents should understand that you should never force your kids into a course that they're not interested in. So it's always wise to consult with your child before joining them in any course. Of course, I think that's how it's going to be. So let's look at a lot of viable options that are available post plus two. Of course, I'm pretty sure you're all aware of the eligibility criteria, which is a minimum of 50% in your plus one and plus two. And if you have any reservations, I think it's about 40%. And obviously, you need to have a valid NEET score. You need to qualify NEET in order to get into most of the courses. So there are two types of courses, which are clinical and paraclinical courses, and non-clinical courses, which you can get into through your PCB. So the clinical and so medicine, I'm pretty sure you're all aiming at medicine. This is the most common career choice, I'm sure. The duration of this course is about 4.5 years, plus 1 year of internship, which is like a training program. So it's a total of 5.5 years. The aim must be always much higher than MBBS. So don't look at MBBS per se. Always aim at some course beyond MBBS. So post MBBS, you have a lot of options. There are medical and surgical options. If you take up a medical branch, then you would be an MD doctor. That's the doctor of medicine, and a surgical branch would make you an MS doctor. So these are post graduation courses after your MBBS. There are also diploma courses which are for about 2 years in both medical and surgical fields. Post MS or MD, that is post your post graduation, you have certain options in both medical and surgical fields. Those are the DM and MCH courses. These are the courses which will make you either a neurologist or a neurosurgeon or a cardiologist or a cardiothoracic surgeon or a urologist. Okay. So nowadays there are a lot of options available abroad as well. So in case you want to pursue MBBS only and you don't crack the NEET for whatever reasons, then there are options available elsewhere, like in China, Mauritius, Russia, or Ukraine, which are not bad. But the only requirement for that would be you would have to clear your MCI exam. There's an MCI exam. Once you get back to India, you'll have to clear that exam to be a certified medical doctor in India. So that exam is going to be a lot tougher than, some say even tougher than the NEET. Okay, so the post-graduation courses available abroad are the USMLE, which is a course, which is an exam in the US. There's PLAB or MRCS in the United Kingdoms. So PLAB, MRCS are also valid in countries like Canada, Australia. There are a lot of job opportunities, of course. I'm sure you're all aware of it. You can freelance as a doctor, have your own clinic. You can work for a government as a government doctor. You can work as a professor in a medical college. There are a lot of job opportunities in India because the required doctor to patient ratio is about 1:1000. This is according to the government of India. So there's a shortage of about 6 lakh doctors at every point in India. So there's a huge shortage of doctors in India. Let's go to the next course. So dentistry. So dental course is a BDS course, which is for about 4 years and 1 year of internship. There is also a post-graduation course for 3 years. It's called the MDS, Master of Dental Surgery. Overseas courses such as NBDE is available in the US, and ORE is an exam that you'll have to clear in order to be a certified dentist in the UK. Both NBDE and ORE are really, really tough. It's easier to crack the MDS exam over here than the NBDE and ORE. NBDE would require you to start from your undergraduation level. So despite clearing your dental BDS course in India, if you want to pursue a dental career in the US, you'll have to start from first year of dentistry. So you'll be doing your bachelor's course all over again, unlike the MBBS. In the UK, however, you can just clear the licensing exam, which is the ORE, and then you would be a certified dentist. The job opportunities. So you could freelance as a dentist. You can have your own clinic. You can work in a corporate hospital. You can work in the public health sector as well. So there are job opportunities for a public dentist. There's a course called public dentistry, which is a master's course. So you could work as a public health official. Coming to homeopathy, homeopathy has been surfacing of late because of a lot of reasons. A lot of people don't believe in allopathy because of the adverse reactions and the complications that allopathy drugs have. So a lot of people are taking up bachelors of homeopathic medicine as well. So this is part of the Ayush, which is Ayurveda, Yoga, and Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathy, which is an allied sciences branch. So this is for about 5 years. There are a lot of job opportunities in government hospitals and clinics. You could also set up your homeopathy clinic and work as a homeopathy doctor. Government has come up with, recently, there's a program, there's an organization called Niti Aayog, which has certified, which has permitted homeopathy doctors to pursue higher education. Unani is also a good branch. There are not many Unani doctors. It's not a very popular branch in medicine. It is for about 4.5 years, plus 1 year of internship. It is also part of Ayush. There are government jobs also available for a Unani doctor. So Ayurveda. Ayurveda is an Indian medicine. So there is a course called BAMS, which is Bachelor's of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery. It is also part of Ayush. This is for about 4.5 years and 1 year of internship. There is also Master of Surgery in Ayurveda, which has been recently certified, permitted by the Government of India. So Ayurveda doctors can also perform general surgery, general surgical surgeries, ENT surgeries, ophthalmologic surgeries, ortho and dental procedures. So Ayurveda is offered in India and a lot of Asian countries. It's not very popular in the Western world, but it's gaining reputation even in the Western world as well. So there are, again, a lot of job opportunities in the government sector. Naturopathy and yogic sciences. This is also part of Ayush again. So you have a degree in Bachelor's of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. It's called BNYS. It's for about 4 years. The job opportunities are you could work as a paraclinical worker in labs and hospitals. You can become a yoga instructor or lifestyle coaches. Nursing is quite popular in the states like Kerala, Goa, Assam, and the Northeast, because you find a lot of female population over there. So BSc nursing is a 4 years course. There's a 2 years of MSc nursing in this. Countries like USA, Australia, and UK have a lot of demand for nurses because the pay is pretty high as compared to a nurse in India. So a nurse could work in a hospital. So there are centers called hospice centers, which are terminally ill centers. So these are the places where terminally ill patients are placed and taken care of. So there's a huge demand for nurses, both male and female, in centers like that. So a nurse could also work in a clinic. They could provide home visits and geriatric care. Geriatric care is nothing but old age care. Of course, there's veterinary sciences. There you hold a degree in Bachelor's of Veterinary Sciences. It's a course for about 5 to 5.5 years, including internship. So there's also a course for 2 years, which is the Master of Veterinary Sciences. These are the job opportunities. You could work for the government. You could freelance. You could have your own pet clinics or hospitals. Physiotherapy is an evolving branch now because of a lot of back issues and a lot of muscle problems in the old age and the software group. So there's a course called MPT, which is Master of Physiotherapy, which is for 2 years. The job opportunities are you could work in a hospital with a tie-up with the ortho department. You could freelance. You could also have your own physiotherapy clinics. B Pharmacy is a bachelor's of pharmacy. It's a 4 years course. There's a post-graduation course in it called the Masters of Pharmacy. You could also do a PhD in pharmaceuticals for 2 years. You could work as a pharmacist in either a hospital or a pharmacy. You could work as a consultant pharmacist. You could work in a healthcare unit as a healthcare manager. There's a good demand in a lot of pharmaceutical companies as well, both within India and abroad. Optometry is a branch where you test the eyes and also prescribe the required lens. So it's a course for about 4 years. There's also a Master of Optometry and a Doctor of Philosophy in Optometry. There's a bridge course from BDS to MBBS, which has received a nod from Niti Aayog. For now, it has been proposed only in public and government universities. This can be taken up only after third year of your BDS program, for which I believe there's an exam which you'll have to clear. The curriculum is pretty much similar to MBBS with varying levels of difficulty. So let's go to the non-clinical aspects of PCB. So there are a lot of biological sciences. There's BSc Biochemistry, BSc Molecular Biology, BSc Microbiology, and there's also dual degree in Biological Sciences, which is a BSc and MSc, so which gives you a direct MSc degree. So these are the various MSc programs that are available in BSc Biology. So BSc Biology is also an evolving program. You have a lot of jobs in the government sector. So you could work as an ecologist, a botanist, or a botanical technician, biological content developer. So you could work as a horticulturist, plant biochemist, and so on. Agricultural Sciences, this is a four years course, which is BSc Agriculture. You could do a master's in BSc Agriculture, which is MSc Agriculture. There again, a lot of various MSc courses, that is agronomy, horticulture, forestry, genetics, and plant breeding. There's a lot of demand in the government sector because there's a scarcity of such people with MSc degrees. So there's a lot of demand also in the companies which make seeds and various other plant-based products. Nowadays, there's a lot of demand for organic products as well. So these are the people that you need to contact. Biotechnology is a rapidly evolving branch. However, in order to become a BTech biotech student, you would have to be a PCMB student with maths as well. Otherwise, you have access only to BSc biotechnology, which is a 3 years course. So the biotechnology students get into a lot of research. So they harness cellular and biological biomolecular processes to develop biotechnology. So research and development of hormones, drugs, and genetic engineering. So these are the people who develop artificial organs, artificial heart, artificial lungs, artificial liver, and the related technology. MBA is a recently evolving branch for the medical field because a lot of doctors, due to either lack of options or due to passion, they take up Master of Business Administration and MBA or Hospital Administration course, which is post MBBS or any bachelor's degree, which is of 3 years. So most of the BSc courses, students can take up MBA after their course. So the job opportunities obviously is hospital administration. This is a 1 or 2 years course. A 1 year course is for an executive MBA. A 2 years course is a full-fledged MBA. So MBA, you get into an MBA only after a certain number of years of work experience. So work experience is mandatory for MBA. Civil services, I'm sure Dr. Vivekananda has already spoken about civil services. So you give the UPSC exam, which is Group A to D. The prerequisite for this is 3 years. So you could get into any of these cadres, IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS, and so on. So you get a direct post as a collector, commissioner of police, IT, revenue, etc., based depending on the groups that you're giving. So you could also get into assistant commissioner post or IT, assistant IT guy or so on. So these are the various miscellaneous courses that you could get into: the microbiology, BSc biochemistry, horticulture, BSc environmental sciences, BSc fisheries, medical technology, BSc occupational therapy, BSc audiology, BSc speech and language pathology, radiography, food technology, botany, zoology, anthropology, home sciences. So MBBS or BDS is not the end of the world. If you don't get into any of those, there are so many other options which you could get into. Especially BSc is evolving branch. So there has to be dignity of labor. So no job is superior to the others. So you could see President of the United States bumping his fist with the janitor. So there's no you don't have to feel bad because you don't get into MBBS or BDS. There are a lot of other options, and you could always follow your passion and dreams. Good luck with your future endeavors. I would like to take any questions, if any.
Thank you so much, Vivek. That was very comprehensive and very exhaustive. And I think after so much of information, I don't think they should have a doubt. But still, if they have any questions, they are open to it. Please type in your questions, or maybe you can just unmute yourself and ask the question. Let me just check if we have any questions here. Okay, so there is one question. Many students love biology but are not sure if they should pursue medicine or opt for biological sciences. What are some traits or skills we need to keep in mind to know if medicine is suitable for us? You especially come from a family of doctors. So what is one common trait that you have seen that that could ensure that you can become a doctor?
Oh, okay. Well, so the only important trait for any student taking up PCB has to be hard work. So it has got very little to do with logic or reasoning, because hard work is the key in a science student. Because there's a lot of mugging up to do. There's a lot of things, a lot of stuff that you need to remember. There's a lot of reading to do. It's not like maths where you can solve a question using a formula. Okay, be it biology or medicine, it only depends on how hard you can work. So medicine, if you're taking up medicine, you need to put in a lot of hours of hard work into reading, and probably you'll have to spend a lot of sleepless nights. So it's not an easy job. Biology, on the other hand, also is quite similar, because biology, if you take up biology, what is the end goal of biology? Any biology student, they would want to become a PhD doctor. So you start off with anything as simple as BSc, whatever course, then you do an MSc, then you become a PhD. So once you get into the stage of PhD, that's where you need to put in like hours of work into your hours of your day into the work. So there's a lot of hard work to be done even once you become a PhD doctor. It's not a cakewalk. So the same goes with medicine. So it all depends on how passionate you are towards the human body or the patients per se, and or whether you want to help the research side, develop new technology, develop new drugs. There's a lot going into technology, biotechnology these days. So yeah, that's what I can tell about it.
So there is one question from Pooja Nainwal. She wants to know about AFMC Pune, BSc Nursing, and more career options in Army. I think I will just take that question for you.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. So, Pooja, I think what you want to know is, do you want to get into Armed Forces Medical College? Because they will have their own entrance exam. So either it could be on the basis of the need that they will take you. So it is like a regular college and you have to follow their course. If you want to know how you want to get into the armed forces, the other option is you have to be an MBBS first, and then there will be certain openings that will come up. You can look out for it in the employment news weekly, and then there will be a recruitment process that will be there. You have to go to Delhi or maybe some place. They will have their interview and other criteria. That's how after you complete your MBBS, become a doctor, then you can join the the defense as a doctor there, and maybe you can get an opportunity to pursue your PG there. BSc Nursing and more courses, can you just elaborate on that, and then we will clarify it for you. Shruti wants to know a little bit about biotechnology.
Biotechnology, there's a lot of demand for biotechnology abroad. I don't think there's a huge demand in India, because India lacks a bit in technology. So if you look at the European countries like Sweden or Switzerland or Germany, they encourage a lot of biotechnology. So there's a lot of advancements going on in biotechnology in terms of, like I've already spoken about it. Now they're developing an entire organ within a lab. So there's a heart. There's something called tissue engineering. So what they do is they construct an entire organ like a lung or a liver or a heart within a lab, and that is implanted in a patient with a heart failure or a lung failure or a liver failure. There is a lot of research yet to be done, but that is where the biotechnology is heading now. So there's a lot of gene manipulation happening. There's a lot of organ development happening, tissue development happening. So there's a lot. Me being an orthopedic surgeon, I could also tell that they're trying to develop bones within a lab. So that is where biotechnology is heading now.
Yeah. Abhishek wants to know what is the scope of agricultural sciences.
Agricultural sciences, you would want to work with a lot of nowadays there's a lot of organic farming going on, along with organic seeds. Everything is going organic. So that is where agricultural sciences is heading. So the scope, I would say, you would find yourself a job in a seed company, like I said, or an organic farming company, or there's something called aquaponics, which is a recent development, aquaponics, or so something really advanced. So there is a lot of scope in agricultural sciences as well, but I don't think there's a much growth in the government sector. You would have to look in a private sector for any sort of growth.
Yes. Asma wants to know what is the scope of Pharma D.
Pharma D, unless you would want to work with a pharmaceutical company, there's not much scope, because once you're done with your pharmacy, I don't know what your resources are. So based on your resources, based on your family support, based on a lot of other factors, and based on your aspirations, you could either end up in a pharmacy selling drugs, or you could work as a manager for a big pharmaceutical company. So after you're done with your pharma, then you could also do your MBA and head a big pharmaceutical company. So that all depends on how well you're supported by your family, your resources, and your aspirations and dreams, and it also depends on where you want to see yourself in the next 10 years, maybe.
Yes. Somebody, how should we decide on our specializations in MBBS?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a lot about MBBS, me being a doctor. So never take MBBS just for the heck of it. Have a clear mind before you start looking at MBBS, because MBBS is not a big deal nowadays. So you could do MBBS either in JIPMER or any private college near your house. It doesn't matter. What you need to look at is post MBBS. So you're right in thinking about a specialization post MBBS, because that is what you need to look at in the first place, and not MBBS at all. So you should have a clear goal in mind even before taking MBBS, whether you would want to become an MD doctor or an MS doctor post MBBS, or whether you want to settle with MBBS alone. Because there are a lot of rural areas in India where there's not even a single MBBS doctor. So just MBBS without any specialization would also work. But I would suggest that you fix your goal on whether you would want to become an MD doctor or an MS doctor even before taking up MBBS. Okay. So, and no one can decide specialization for you. You would have to explore your options. You would have to go through the course in order to find a particular branch of your suiting.
I have one question. Did you decide, in your intermediate level itself that you wanted to be a orthopedic?
Oh, so me, both my parents being doctors, I was always inclined towards taking up medicine. Okay. So even though they tried to talk me out of it, I wasn't influenced by it. They tried to talk me out of it because of the lot competition that was there at that point. And I would still tell a lot of kids over here that MBBS is not the only option. And there's a lot of competition, as you all know, because you'll be giving your NEET exam. So there's a lot of competition in MBBS. So if you can sustain the competition, even after you crack the NEET, it's not a cakewalk. So I sort of decided in Inter itself that I would become a doctor, because I was definitely influenced by my parents.
So when did you decide to take up orthopedics?
Orthopedics is during my internship. So yeah, it was during the internship. That is the 1 year period after your MBBS. That is when most of the kids, that is when they decide which branch to get into, because they experience firsthand as a trainee doctor. You get a 1 month or a 2 months internship period posting in a particular branch. So that's when you either like or dislike a subject or a branch. So for example, I was posted in gynecology. Obviously I didn't like gynecology. I was posted in ENT. I didn't like ENT. So I was more attracted towards orthopedics. So that's the reason I took orthopedics.
Dheeraj is asking, sir, in the coming years, which sector is best in the healthcare?
So, to be honest, I would say just get out of healthcare system. But then, because I think you've already, if you've already taken PCB, then there are not too many options for you. Well, of course, apart from MBBS and BDS, there are a lot of options. There is not much scope in the research field in India, so you might have to head out of India for a lot of research and a quality lifestyle. What is the question again?
1 minute. In the coming years, which sector is the best in healthcare?
Healthcare itself is a sector. I don't get the
Not very
question.
specifically, maybe Dheeraj, can you
Bio,
elaborate on that? What
I think
exactly?
oh, I think he meant like biotechnology or agriculture or whatever.
Maybe.
So medicine or dentistry or so
Yeah.
if you can crack medicine and become a top notch doctor in the city that you live in, there's nothing like it. But
Mm.
in order to become a top notch surgeon or a physician, there's
Mm.
a lot of hard work that you need to invest.
Absolutely.
So it's not a cakewalk. So if you can achieve that goal of becoming like the best surgeon or the best physician in your area or your city, then there's nothing like it. That is probably the best sector, if that is what you mean to ask.
Mm. Okay. So Devam Shah wants to become a biological engineer. He wants to know what should he study after 10th, something similar to biotechnology.
Yeah.
So, mm,
So
so
in
what?
order to become a biotech engineer, you would have to take up MBIPC or PCMB,
Mm,
so that you get access to BTech biotechnology and then become a biotechnological engineer.
mm,
But there's a course called BSc biotech, which is not exactly similar. I mean, it is similar and also not similar in certain aspects because there's no maths part of it. So after BSc biotech, you would have to do another course in order to be an equal of a BTech biotech. Yeah.
mm. Devam, I hope that answers your question. And I think I've covered most of the questions. Mm, will it?
Because of
Nah.
office.
Okay, there is another question. Will it make sense to pursue PG in India or abroad post MBBS?
Well, it
Are the
depends.
rates or the
It
competition tough?
Oh, competition is definitely tough in India. So again, it depends. I would say USMLE or PLAB exams, which are available abroad, are relatively easier than the tough competition that we have over here. But the only problem with those courses is they're really expensive. So USMLE, just the exam applications for USMLE are about 50,000 to 2 lakhs per exam. So they're really expensive. Even the PLAB exam or the MRCS exam in the UK are really expensive. So that is one reason why if money is an issue, if there's a cost constraint, then I would say just stick on to whatever courses India can offer. Otherwise, if cost is not an issue, if the money is not an issue, then I would definitely say uh, go for abroad options. So there's a question.
What is the process of BHMS and what could be the fee?
I'm not sure about the fee, but I think BHMS you could get into through NEET.
Yes, it's just through NEET.
Yeah.
You have to write the NEET exam for it.
Yes.
So if you're Shruti, if you're from Hyderabad, you have the at Ramantapur, you have the government homeopathy medical college. You can apply there. You have many such other government homeopathy colleges. Uh, I don't think any private college has been set up as of yet in homeopathy. The government has been really pushing Ayurveda, homeopathy, Unani, and yoga. So a lot of government colleges have been set up. So maybe you can look at that after your NEET exam. And because it will be government, I don't think the fees also will be too high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
MBBS. Oh, what was the process for MBBS? Which I think MBBS is pretty straightforward. You need to crack your NEET exam to get into MBBS.
Mm.
So you need to qualify NEET for sure, even to get into a C category, which is like a donation seat. I think you need to crack NEET for sure.
Mm.
And the exams, there's only one exam for MBBS right now. It's NEET.
Yes. Yes. Any other question? I think If there are any other questions, we'll be happy to take those questions. Otherwise, I think we can call this a wrap.
I would like to tell about dentistry as well, a little bit about dentistry as well.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, dental course is for about 4 years plus 1 year in India. So once you're done with this, there are a lot of options which could either get you into a clinical part of it, or get you into a medical college part of it. So in a medical college, in a dental college, you could become a public dentistry doctor, where there's a lot of demand teaching side. There are not many public dentistry doctors. Okay. And one more evolving branch in dentistry is called forensic dentistry. So it's not very popular in India, but it is related to forensics and crimes, and a lot of stuff to do with police and magistrates and all that. So it's an evolving branch abroad in the UK and in the US. It's a very interesting job, because you would be tied up with the Interpol and the major crime fighting organizations across the globe. So that is a very fascinating job, if you ask me, because becoming a dentist and then getting into all this is quite fascinating for me, at least. So this is an evolving branch. Then coming to MBBS, there are a lot of options abroad, like I said already. Apart from that, you could also do hospital management. So a lot of students give their NEET exam like 3 or 4 times, and they give up on NEET, and they take up hospital administration, which was also not a bad idea. So you could be heading a hospital, you would run a hospital. You yourself, being a doctor, would know all the intricate details of how a hospital would run. So post MBBS, hospital administration is also an evolving branch.
Up and coming career. Yes.
So what to pursue after
Doctor
of Pharmacy? Doctor of Pharmacy, is it talking about PhD or the masters? So if it is PhD in pharmacy, then you would be tied up with a lot of research in pharmacy, in making drugs and latest advancements in drug technology. You would be working for multinational drug companies. So that is where you would look yourself at if you have done your PhD pharmacy.
Yeah, I think we are done with all the questions. We have answered all of them. If not PhD in pharmacy, Asma is asking
If
second.
it is masters in pharmacy. Masters in pharmacy, you would still get a job in a pharmaceutical company, but obviously not on the research side. In pharmacy, I know a few branches like the pharmacovigilance. So clinical side, there's not much. There's not much on the clinical side that you would get. But pharmacovigilance, and there are a few evolving branches in pharmacy where they regulate and monitor drug dispensing to prevent drug abuse and all that. So, yeah. I don't think there's much scope in clinical side, even though you've done your pharmacy.
Asma, I hope that answers your question. Welcome, Asma. Thank you so much, Dr. Vivek. It was a very comprehensive and very interesting Q&A as well. A lot of varied questions that we asked, and a lot of other interesting things we got to know about, especially the forensic dentistry. I had not heard of it, so it was informative for me also. I want to hand over to Dr. Swati Agarwal now for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Neha. So it was wonderful to have Dr. Vivekanand Vimisetti join us and give us, as Neha said, a very comprehensive picture of all the options that are available to any student who has pursued PCB or BIPC at the 11th, 12th, and then each and every option that they could consider after that. And is also given very practical advice. This is something that, is very important to everyone, that you have to be idealistic as well as to, try to reach for your dreams aspire for a lot more bigger things in life. But when he's talked about how hard work becomes the key to any kind of career in biological sciences, I think not a lot of people will share that with you. And that becomes very important because you become prepared to reach your goal in a more methodical way, in a more focused way. So, that's something that's very important. You also, thank you so much for answering such a wide range of questions from everyone and having the patience to address each and every one of them so thoroughly and sharing very interesting tidbits and about evolving branches in this particular field. So thank you so much, Dr. Vivekanand, for joining us and for being part of this particular session.
Thank you, Swati and Neha, for having me. I hope this helps all the kids in their future endeavors.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Before we all leave, I just wanted to share a couple of pieces of information with everyone who has joined us. If you think of any other questions you would like to reach out to us, you can always do that. We have our phone number that we have shared with all of you on the email ID through which the meeting link was sent. You can always join our Telegram channel called Career Gyan, where you can drop in any questions or any, keep updated with certain entrance exams, admissions to colleges, up and coming fields in different areas where you could possibly pursue your career in. So you could join our Telegram channel for that. In case you have missed any part of this particular session, we will be uploading the entire video up on YouTube again on our channel called Career Gyan. So you could watch the recording over there as well. And before you all sign off, I would request that you do share your review for the session with us. We would really love to hear from you so that we can keep improving on all the sessions that we are providing to everyone. So I have just shared the link in the chat box. So you can use that and share your review with all of us. And once again, thank you for joining us. Have a nice day.